Assalamualaikum everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. So today's topic of discussion is CV, which is curriculum vitae. Actually, a curriculum vitae includes a resume and cover letter. It's a common error that most of the people cannot differentiate between a CV and resume. These two things are totally different. A curriculum vitae is actually a document which you prepared for a specific job, but a resume is a general kind of information, including your biodata, your qualification, which you prepare for or which you drop for different, which you drop a same document to apply for different jobs. So CV or resume both are the documents which you prepared for seeking when you're seeking for a good job. Okay. Particularly, we are going to discuss curriculum vitae, that is CV. So you prepared a CV to sell yourself to prospective employers. Okay. The CV should tell about you, your qualification history, your skills, abilities, achievements in a brief manner. Okay, so you have to prepare a CV, one CV for one job only. Okay, when you are applying for a job, you have to prepare a specific or a separate CV for that job. So I'll start from the very first point in which you say CV or resume is an employment seeking document. The main purpose of is to win a job, that you want to get that job at any cost. So you have to consider this thing while writing a CV. So CV is a document used to list one's qualification and experience and skills for employment. It is said to prospective employer. A well-written CV or resume attracts the attention of the employer. For getting a job, you have to put your 50 to 60% effort in the preparation of your CV, because that is the thing which is ultimately going to help you to get that job, because employee usually don't have that much time to go or into the deep details of your documents, so they just get a idea from that brief document which is known as CV. So it should be made attractive and persuasive, that is convincing. So when we are discussing the thing that where CV is used, CV is actually used for two purposes. The very first one is already known or already discussed, that CV is actually a job seeking document. So we prepare it when we want to apply for a job. And the second thing is when it helps you out in research purposes. Now, how the CV help you in research purpose? It is actually when you want to collaborate with the people which is not from your organization. So you put your CV on different organization to collaborate with the people on national and both international level. So we get a lot of there are a lot of advantages of CV, of a curriculum vitae. We have different kind of CVs, like we have chronological CVs, functional CVs, combined CV, and they give us different advantages. Some of them will help us in casting a spotlight on our career, our chronological career. And other one will take the spotlight away from our age. Okay, so and the functional will help you out when you are applying in a different industry. When you're changing the industry, then it will cast the light or spotlight on your transferable skill, that how you are going to help that different industry, a purely different industry from the previous one in which you were working. So it provides complete information about an employee who is applying for a job. An employer conveniently selects required candidate because they get they get the idea of the personal or individual skills, their qualifications, and the achievement which he had from that brief document, and obviously they can duplicate the data easily. Okay, the thing which we have to discuss now is that what we are going to include in CV. So it's a CV is actually a longer detail or a document than a resume. So a CV should be clear, complete. But the thing which we are going to discuss in this slide is actually the list of things which you are seeing right now, that what you have to write or how you are going to start your CV. The very first one is the heading, in which you give your personal contact or information, in which you give your bio data. Okay. uh, your personal data, but you have to take care to avoid the superfluous detail which are not demanded, like religious affiliation or your children names and so on. Okay. Then the second thing which you have to mention is the positions, or that for the position which you are going to apply. The next thing is the career objective, your goals for your professional career. The next thing is the education or your qualification. While mentioning your qualification, you have to take care to include the names of institution and dates attended in a reverse order. So reverse order is the most important point which you have to consider while writing your qualification. You have to write or mention the latest degree first, like PhD, then masters, then undergraduate, then your intermediate and metric. Okay, so you have to put that qualification in reverse order. The next thing is work experience. You also have to put your work experience in a reverse chronological order. Okay, so you have to put your latest experience first, and then you have to move toward the previous one. Okay, so it's a widely accepted style of employment record. Achievement, and then the responsibilities are listed for each role. The next thing is skills. It include computer skills, foreign language skills, any other recent training that is relevant to the role applied for, like a brief biography, scholarships, training which you have had, study abroad, dissertation, thesis, and there are a lot of things, okay, in which you have command. So you have to mention these things in your skills portion. Next thing is honors and awards. So you have to mention the achievements, your achievements in this portion. The next category is research experience. So you have to mention your whole research detail if you have any in this portion. After that, you have to mention your publication or presentation. Obviously, these things are also related to the research purpose. If you have any research paper which is published, or a chapter of a book which is published, or you have presented any a paper in any conference, in any national or international conference, you have to present that after the research experience. After that, you have extracurricular activities, that in which kind of activities you are interested. You have to mention that in that portion. And the last thing is references, and you have to mention references if it is required. Okay. So references should be listed separately and given to the employers upon request only. What not to include, that you don't have to include your photo if not required, your salary history, the reason you left the previous job. Okay, so if it's not required, if it's not demanded, you don't have to mention these things in your CV. So how long an accurate CV should be? It is really said that an ideal curriculum vitae should not cover more than 2 or 3 pages. Okay, so you have try to complete your whole details in 2 to 3 pages, no more than that. Or it should be clear, properly structured, organized, concise, and relevant. It means you have to give the relevant detail. Please don't go off the track and give the irrelevant details which are not required for the job. You have to now how to write the CV. You have to put the things in a bullet points. It means you have to give just outlines, or you have to explain the thing in fewest possible words. Or a CV must be in the logical order. It means the things should be understandable if they are not even in chronological order. And proofreading must be, or should be, a must-have part of CV writing, because you also have to put efforts in the writing skills. There shouldn't be any spelling mistake. There should be any grammatical mistake in your writing, because it give a bad impact or cast a bad impact on the employers. What you have to do is to give just only factual information. Okay, only tell the truth. It can be tempting to over polish a CV and make our educational qualification a little better than they are. But if you are tempted to stretch the truth about your work history, the things will get exaggerated. Okay, and it will ultimately haunt you. So you have to just give the truth in a fewest possible words, by keeping things short. Okay, don't give the extra details. Use formal and well written language, which is written simply and clearly in a simple understandable words. So don't get too personal. Like I have already said, don't give the details of your religious affiliation or the name of your children or the salary package if it's not required. You're discussing, you don't have to discuss it. And keep your CV more professional. Use a concise language. Obviously, what I said, that precise and a brief thing should be there in a well written manner. Include your photo as salary history if necessary. As I already said, if it's not required or not demanded by the organization, you don't have to add this thing in your CV. If we have a sample of CV, it will help you out that how you are going to write a CV. So we have different styles of CV and different formats of CV. The thing which we have, or the thing or the sequence which I have discussed, it's a little bit different from that, because we have discussed that you have to give the employment history after education. So education should come first and employment history should comes after the education. So when you get different formats, you will get this also get the different sequences of the thing. So you can go for any one of that. So now the next thing is cover letter. So cover letter is actually the most motivating application attached to CV. It's a kind of job letter. A CV, as I said, a curriculum vitae, you can say has two parts: a cover letter and a resume. A resume was the thing which we were already discussing, the journal information, which include your personal data, your qualification, your work experience. Now the cover letter is more specific than resume. It's a kind of document which you prepare to sell yourself in front of the employer. Okay, it is a sort of sales letter through which the applicant tries to sell his services, knowledge, skills, and experience. So what you are actually doing in a cover letter, that you are presenting yourself in a more professional, particular way and how you write it. You write it in a paragraph style. Okay, in which you have different kind of divisions, that what you are going to write in your first paragraph, now what you are going to write in your second paragraph, and third paragraph we'll discuss it in the next line. Before that, there is a need to discuss the types of cover letter. We have two types of cover letter. The very first one is solicited and the other one is unsolicited. Now, what are these? So there is a clear difference between the solicited and unsolicited cover letter. So solicited cover letter is that in which you don't need to attract the attention of the reader because you have been invited to apply. In solicited letter, you have to attract your reader and you have to try to grab the attention of your reader to get that job. Okay, in your initial paragraph. Now what you do in your initial paragraph, you do that, you tell them that how you get to know about that job and what was the source, and your interest level. Okay, now there is a need to discuss the part of job application, that is a cover letter. So cover letter is also known as job application, as I have already said. So there is a strong and arresting opening in the very first paragraph of cover letter, in which you tell from who you are, from where did you get the information about that job, what was the source, and in the second paragraph you tell the self-interest of the employer. Okay, and appeal to self-interest, that how you are going to how much you are interested in that job and how you are going to help that organization with the help of your skills. The next thing is qualification achievements. In the third paragraph or in the next idea, you have to mention that you how much qualified you are, what are your experiences, what are your achievements, and how these achievements are going to help ultimately going to help that organization in which you are applying. And at the very last or at the very end of the cover letter, you have to put a request, a humble request for an interview, or what we can say that you are appealing them to give you a chance to prove your skills to them. So we are going to discuss the same thing that we have already discussed in the resume. The things should be brief. Okay, you don't need to give extra details. Use a plain paper. Don't use a colorful or a printed paper. Just use a plain paper to put your application. A clear handwriting, obviously, a clear, understandable. There is no need to put a fancy writing to cast a good impact. If you are writing in a clear, simple writing, it will be a good thing for you, both for you and employer and employer. Mention the source. Obviously, as I have said that in the first paragraph, you have to mention what was the source or from where did you get the knowledge about that job. And then mention the facts clearly. The same thing, that tell the truth. You don't have to give or you don't have to put some false experiences or details about you to exaggerate the thing. It will not help you out. State age, habits, and health, etc. Some personal things. Divided in paragraphs. Okay, the thing that already been discussed in the parts of the cover letter. Attached with the copies of documents, obviously the details which you have given, which I was saying that you have to give the truth. So whatever the experiences, the work experiences you have said or you have mentioned in the resume portion or in your cover letter, or the qualification you have mentioned, you have to give the hard or evidential proof of that things also. And then obviously the references if demanded, and your full address. Proofreading, there are some other points which you also have to consider while writing, that double check your typos and grammatical error to avoid any kind of inconvenience in your future, or ask something or someone else to review it for you. It's often hard to catch your own mistakes, so just get the help of others, or get the format of the writing should be proper, so you can also get help. If you're applying for a fellowship, for example, you won't need to include the personal information. Okay, so you have to give the things according to the proper format. You can get the guideline from the experienced people also. So there are some guidelines for a cover letter. The very first one is attract the attention of employer. You have to grab the attention of employer so he can go deep into the details of your qualification, of your work experience. So for that purpose, you have to use appropriate, beautiful words. You have to select beautiful words so you can get or grab the attention. On what you have to do is to complete your homework. You must know the whole thing about the organization in which you're applying, because if you know about that organization, you will be knowing about the good or the bad thing about that, and you can also mention some problem solving kind of things in your cover letter, the which can easily grab the attention, or with the help of which you can easily get the attention of your reader. And another thing, that you have to respect your reader's time. Okay, if 100% applying for a single seat for a vacancy, then employer would not be having so much time that he get into the deep details and the long irrelevant stories of yours which you are going to write in your curriculum vitae. So what you have to do is to keep things brief, short, precise, and concise, and keep your letters straightforward, just specific and professional. Just you have to mention things to the point. Now, once your employer start giving attention to you, now what you have to do is to develop the interest of that employer also. Okay, so do not repeat the things included in resume. Know the desire of the recruiter. Okay, there I always mention two things, that there is always a need and a want of a person. First of all, the things which you are going to discuss in your cover letter, or the skill which you are going to discuss, must be according to the need of that organization or the employer. Okay, and give the relevant information. Then move toward the want of the recruiter. The educational background and other details should be given in the way that you are the most suitable person for that job, that your skills, achievements, your professional career should match the specification of the job, which will which will you have to make him think that you are the suitable person for the job. So the last thing is action. You have to make him do some things for you that uh, the whole thing, the whole previous thing should be that much interesting and persuasive that it convince them to call you for the interview and to make a reply easy. So, in short, when your CV is answering the whole five W's of the organization or about you, they will ultimately start thinking, or the employer will start thinking about hiring you for a particular job. Okay, so keep your things, just keep your things brief, concise. Just check the format, proofread the document, select a proper format for your curriculum vitae, and give every skills and details which are required by the organization. Don't try to hide anything which they want to know. Okay. Thank you so much. Hope you will get that thing.